Yeah, go ahead, James, and ask your questions there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so how multiple people can work in the developer console if they're working, if two people are working in the same component without overriding each other?
See, the development, whatever you do with the developer console, or you do with the go with the VS Code, and then you write a code that and you deploy. If both people are working on the same component, so there's a tendency we can override the same component, whoever is trying to upload it. So for this to avoid, the only thing we have is so we need to have a repositories like Git or something. So where you try to upload a copy would be there in the be in the Git. So the versions would be there, so you can recover the whole code. So that is the only way. Otherwise, Salesforce didn't give an option. So every time when you do the previous versions, we can't keep the hold of it. So either you do from VS
So,
Code or from the developer console. There's no chance. It can override. So version controlling is the one which or like say get something we have. So there's the one. So let's say you're after your code review, your code is working fine. So we try to push it to the master copy or master branch. So then again, if
okay,
someone
I
trying
think.
to pull it again and then trying to do work on, okay, maybe in the latest, whatever the child branch which is open, so he is trying to modify the code there. Again,
Oh, okay.
again he'll
No,
come and merge. But that is a format that we have, but still, yes, of course, it's open world. Anyone tries to go on the same component modify, there are tendency to override the code. Yeah.
Okay, no, I think I got what we are doing here. It was a little confusing on how the Java and how here it works.
Mm.
So we do the org connect from the VS Code, right? And that time we will have our version of the code in the VS Code, and then it will be only our repository connecting to the Salesforce or the developer console,
Yeah.
not anybody else's. Okay, yeah, I think I got that.
You have a local copy of yourself, but the moment you
Okay,
are keeping a local copy and you're saving yourself, it's still fine. And if you deploy to the org, so then it comes and changes here, of course. So make sure what to do is okay. So ideally, two people connecting on the same or sorry same component would be 10% possible. It's not always same people would work on the same component
oh, but
unless
if
a different project is different. But in a Salesforce, the task which you give in a project, let's say I'm
mm-hmm.
saying go work on a trigger handler is assigned to jump cell. So it could be an independent component. Maybe sometime, and already this is a parent class we have. We both work on a child class. So both of us, any one of them would try to go and modify the parent class also for some reason. So then
Mm-hmm.
a small changes would appear. So in that case, what people would do is there would be conflict would appear. So always we try to merge the component, any one of them, and then who try to push us to the master. So we have to the other guy has to rebase the master. Only then all the latest changes that would get to everyone.
Yeah, but my question is like from the VS Code, I will be connecting to the org with the same credentials what other person also will be having, right?
Mhm.
So when I'm testing using the developer console, if other person is also working with the same credentials, then it will be the same component, but it will be their own local copy. It will not be in any master branch or any
Yes,
cut
yes,
off
yes.
branches, right?
Unless and until see if both people are granted to work on the same thing, so rather to create a new class and then start working on it. Later you can merge to the original class whatever you have it. I'm saying like
Okay, okay.
trigger handler, account trigger handler, and an assignment is given to both is a very rare case. So like
Okay,
go ahead
okay.
and then do the changes, or go create a new component for the both the people. So it's a very 10%. I'm saying it cannot be 1%. Also maybe 10% out of 90. There could be chances. There could be chances, but very
Okay,
rarely it
because
happens.
yeah,
So
I
you
think
have your
I need to work on that because it's little confusing on like in Java, like you have your individual like workspace, right? Where you
here
test
also we
and
have
deploy and
here also we
everything.
have. It depends on the org. Salesforce
Okay.
now it's maturing with the deployments and release process. Though they have it already from past 2 3 years, but people are not flexible using it. So if you join a
Okay.
project, then you can see how you said as individual space, right? We have scratch
Right.
orgs that is tagged to
Okay.
each individual users, and
Okay.
you have your own space. You are dealing with your own space, everything you're doing, and later on
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to push it to master branch once the approve happens.
Can you show us that once, like when we are there? Can you show us how do you do actually in our work area without recording?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Of course, part of the advanced class, I have noted that few deployment things have to,
Especially this will be the basic thing when you go to the project, right? You're getting the like code and merging. Those are
mm.
like
So
we cannot
deployment,
be.
how to do with the subdisk change circular flow something, and if you have a repository, how do you do a check-in?
Okay.
And let's say what you're discussing, right? Like Scratch or those comes in SFDX only.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I will give a highlights of this because something if you know early, it will be good enough to work on.
Okay.
So deployment is one piece you need to understand. Why a little bit of 6 or 7 is maybe each and everyone is not trying to create a scratch or going to do something there. Of course, this is a knowledge required when the class is getting over. So if you have that knowledge, what are the components that we did, and we try to do and fro with deploy something, so you will get an idea. It'll be easy for you the moment you join a project. Okay, this will be done. It'll be primary or recent activity things.
Okay.
Because the
Okay.
moment you join a project, few things they would ask is maybe your project is not on integration or not on CPQ, but something onto the deployment side. See, any of them only have to go through for sure. Because the deployment is one of the key things. You work on sales or service or marketing. Any project you work on, deployment will be key concept. That's the reason I put here. So if you talk about this and then overwriting on this, if you see, too many things you would have learned. So that's the reason I wanted
Mm.
to stay a little away and then.
Okay.
So
Sure.
at the
Yeah.
last, if you know all of this, okay, this is how they do a deployment. So that's good. But unless and until I think a change set, I think I've given an overview. Maybe I'll again try to. I have a document, nice document. I'll send you. Recently created one. So so that it says how to add a component. So maybe offline without recording, I can show in a real hour how it works.
Okay.
So that only was like pending. So in this overall chapter 6 and 7, I'll show you what you do as a component moving and how do you check into a repository. Maybe a private repository could be private in the sense like your own public, which you have been
Mm-hmm.
created from a Gmail. So those repository only we can push it and see how it works.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to take a lot of time.
No, 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 I'm saying that these are in the roadmap of an advanced class. So don't worry.
Okay. And regarding you sent something about the codes, right? That some workflow and process builder are going away and
Mm.
no more in development. So
No, the
should
process
be
builder.
aware of.
No, process builder will not go away, and the workflow. Sorry, what do you say? Process builders and flows would be there for a long time. Uh,
Okay.
Workflows, they saying that they may go away because they are already replaced by the process builder.
Oh, okay.
The workflows, majority task you see, like sending an email, yes, we can do
Mm-hmm.
from a process builder. Field update, you can do in process builder. And what else? A task you can create in process builder. The only thing is missing is outbound messages.
Mm.
Okay, right? So there's something called as outbound message. You send an XML to some third party. On a trigger of a record, you're trying to send an outbound message. So that is the only thing which is there in on a workflow. If that concept has been brought up to the process builder, if you see, then no more workflows are important to us. Not required at all.
Oh, okay. Because the screenshot you said sent to said workflow going away.
Huh. So a majority of their workflows have four features, which is like create task and field update and send an email. And then last time we have outbound messages. If all three
Okay.
are used in already in the process builder, so they will think that why this workflows is required. And
Okay.
workflows, so they don't have much flexible, like they don't have if else type of logic, like how we have in process builder. You choose object. If yes is a condition, you go to the next line. If no is a condition, you go to the below and you can choose another condition filter criteria and you can get in again. You saw the process builder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that is more advanced. Like we have if else type of logic. If this is a true condition, you're
Mm-hmm.
getting in. Else you're getting down. Uh, that features we don't have in workflows. Like for every conditions you have to write new rules. Then too many workflow rules you would have written onto the same object. What is our sales entire idea is one trigger per object, one process builder per object, one flows per object. So like this, we are going in a scenario where the workflows are having one object, many workflows rules will have. Then again, that is not matching the best practice conditions.
Okay.
So these are the areas where workflows would be targeted to go away.
Okay.
And those things already we learned about it. And then we also have an alternative solution like how a process builder will work. Even that also we've gone through. So that session is all about maybe I think it is costing $250. I think. So I thought initially it's a free session is running, but that guy is charging $200. So maybe
Oh,
when I get a free time, so I'll only record those things and send it out. Don't worry.
okay. Sure.
So nothing much they have in advance. They will put us to a few couple of scenarios and then explain little more extensively what we're doing in a scenario wise. So to that $2 are too much. So I'll find some time and then I'll record and send it out. So unless and
Sure.
until whatever the basic knowledge we have, that is more than enough. Unless and until we get a project only, we can go a little more extensive and work on it.
Okay.
So that is still fair enough. So the other question which you asked is okay, trigger on or before trigger, what we are trying to do with. Yeah. Mm. See, so what is first important thing is I think this you would have got. Events you specify, then we just get into the logical wise. So if I
Yeah.
say before insert, is go to the before trigger and then insert logic specifically what you're trying to deal with. If I say trigger.new, absolutely you're dealing with the new records. Since it is insert, I don't have an ID, so I just will use trigger.new. So I just get an insert here. So then I have before insert logic method here. A new records are flowing in. It could be one or money. So in these conditions, what I will do is go find simple. This was simple. Hey, go find the billing street. If the billing street is there, then get their parent record. We were what we're saying it.
Mm,
So that method was doing something here. Go find the billing street. Select name from account where billing street like billing street if it found. Bring that ID. I said. So why the billing street we found? Maybe you are giving a Chiboli or Kutpalli something you're giving. So that I wanted to find any of the record who is having a billing street as this. So now if I say any of those guys, actually I'm finding for restaurant, right?
mhm.
My intention is to find a restaurant. According to us, we have three account. I mean, we have three types of account. One is restaurant, individual, and then business account. And all these three guys have a different record types. You got that?
Yeah.
Now my intention is to only pick the restaurant.
Mhm.
So that is the reason I have chosen, or I have just went to get the record type like this.
Okay.
So record type cannot be queried just like that. It cannot be added here because record type itself will have more details about, let's say, record type name, record type ID. So these are like something we have in this. To avoid a circle query, we have used this. Okay, instead of saying here, I'll tell you. Select name from record type where okay, a record type ID you have to pass it. In order to avoid the hard coding of a code, so I've used this dynamic circle. We're just trying to fetch you the real-time ID. So I'll get there. So account, sorry, record types. See, record types is a separate section we have. And then if I click on a restaurant and the record ID passes here. This record type ID I have to give it here. You see this? So I have to
Mm.
make a query like this. It's not like an account. Look at this. They have a separate query. Select name from record type where ID is equal to. You have to pass it like this, and then you'll get a restaurant. And then you are filtering
Yeah.
the
So
restaurant record only.
my question is here, see, the record type is kind of an object here, right? Where you're doing select name from record type.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is not common thing. So how do we come to know like different objects which are not like
Yeah.
very commonly used, like account, contacts? Those are like common objects which we use. But here record type, it is hard to get that. Okay, we can fetch something like that.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I agree with your point. So two things we do like this. Generally, two things we do like this. Um, one is the record type. The other one is profile.
Okay. So this is the like most frequently used uncommon object kind of thing.
So where you can't do. I mean, in Salesforce, what they say is do not hard code the value.
Mm-hmm.
Hard code the value in the sense for a program writing a string itself. They think that is not code. You're
Right.
writing an idea of this record type here. Maybe this is dev org. It is fine. The same for this. See, for every org, the record ID would be there. If you go to different org again, the record ID might change. So your code, which you're hard coding it here, querying for record type, and you're giving for a query, maybe in next org which is going in, they will fail there because such ID is not present there. You getting?
Yeah.
So then, if the code is breaking there, it's because of an ID, and that too you're hard coded it. So you can't go change often the ID of record to your individual class. In production, we are not supposed to change your Apex class. So the same class still you can modify, and we are not supposed to, but still you can modify the code because that is all treated as sandbox. And production box, you cannot change your Apex code. Apex code change means you cannot edit the class and you cannot do some change to this. In production, they may have different ID. Who knows? If that ID I cannot copy and paste it and save it here, no?
Mm.
So what should I do in UA20? I should override that whatever the production value, and then have to deploy it so that it goes to the production, and again I have to change in the UAT to the respective account orgs whatever the ID it is, and then I have to save it. To do all the circus, what we do is we just do this dynamic way. So why I stopped here is just giving highlights on here is because in our advanced class I was saying something dynamic apex. So that time I thought of bringing all this.
Oh, okay. We have a separate topic about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I
Okay.
just put like that now only, so just something that to make a curiosity what this is doing. So why it should be. Out of any of three, one
Okay.
would surely come and ask me the question. So I said that okay, there are ways like to do this way also. I could have done this, but thought of putting down dynamic things so that you pass the restaurant or you pass something, we would get an ID. And that ID is easy for me. Without querying only I got them. So
Okay.
this is not included in a query. So this would include for a query count. Circle query list, this is one and this is two. So in a program, we should reduce the circle query count and increase the performance by doing this dynamic stuff like this.
But writing the test class for this dynamic, you have so many chain methods. It is very complicated, right?
No, no, not worry about this.
Okay.
You're
No,
writing a
I'm
test
just
class.
saying.
You're writing a test class. So we have to do
If
it
you have
during
the
the.
line coverage and all that, having the chain methods will be complicated. I'm
No.
just thinking.
Okay, I agree. Sometimes how it does this in Salesforce. What is what the test you're doing it here? So our intention is not to go right saying that hey before method go cover this. Not like that.
Mm.
So we are trying to create a record. That is the use case, right? In the original scenario, you are trying to create a new record
Mm-hmm.
that will fall under the before insert, and you are querying the existing record you are trying to modify, and that will cover this. And you're trying to delete a record in the code. I mean, whatever the test class. So then that should cover this. So however the tester is doing the activity, so that should cover the original scenarios of whatever the code we written here.
Oh yeah, I have one question here. So here, trigger dot update, it is for the existing one. Then why do we have trigger dot new, not trigger dot old?
Now trigger.new will have the new coming in a context here. Trigger.old
Okay,
will
but
have the old context.
update is done always on the old one, right?
No, no. I think you have to understand this way. Trigger dot. Okay, let me open a record.
Before updating, it's new record. After updating, it'll be like it's like old record.
Before updating, it is a new record.
Let
Like
me
new record or something.
show you. This India Mart I'm just opening right away now. So currently this record is in the old context. Something
Yeah.
that you didn't modify at all. So this is having the old context.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take a trigger.new, something this hot to new warm something will change. So they will
Oh,
go
then
into
you
the
save it is updating the.
then that particular context would be in trigger.new because there's a new change here.
Okay,
In
okay,
old
okay, I
change,
got
hot
it.
would be there. So
Mm-hmm.
I would if I just go with the old, I would never update my whatever the change which is done. It will never even reflect there because you're always talking about the old.
Mm-hmm.
You getting? So
Yeah, I got
why
it.
we should have a in trigger? Why we should have a trigger.new and old? Both you want to do is sometimes you compare them.
Mm,
What is your previous value? Okay, only if you change your previous value, I will let you. Simply and all, if you go simply save it, I don't execute this program at all.
yeah.
Previous value and current value, there is a change, only then I'll allow you to save a record. Or else, this save not even will come to that particular logic. That also you can make it. How? You need to compare a value. Triggered at old and triggered at new. So I'll do that compare and triggered at after I thought. Anyway,
Okay,
either way, anything you can do because this update is having an ID, you can perform them still.
okay.
So why I did I is because we already getting too many things here. So at the very beginning, only if I try to use a map, still more it will be complicated. So thought like, okay, the basic version let's have, and little more complex version let's have in the after update. I thought.
Yes, I'm writing now. I'm clear about it. You can go ahead.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Hello,
Yeah, can you hear me?
you cancel. I think I didn't hear your last point.
No, I think I'm clear now on my questions. What I had, I'm clear.
So yeah, this is dynamic query. Of course, we would try to. So here also you think that this is a hard coded value, but still you're giving a restaurant name, but you're not giving ID like this hard coded. It can go to any number of hour, like say upgrade to development and deploying it, like say test, UAT, UAT 1, 2, 3, whatever you have in your org, and then find it to production. If you have such a restaurant record type, automatically this would help us to get the ID of it. So it's a dynamic thing. And such IDs we can pass it here. So likewise, we are not hard coding much here. So this could be put into a label and that label name you can get it here. Even this we can avoid the single quotes, whatever you're doing it. So that label also I'll tell you. So right away. So it will be pretty easy. That label named as custom labels. So why these custom labels are used? These custom labels would try to use for multi-language things. Hmm. For example, you wanted to convert tomorrow these UI things, whatever rating to something else if you think, or some value which you're trying to display, you wanted to change the language, like say to look into the French. So then custom labels are pretty used. Or else it just like acts like a placeholder, you can have the value there. So let me create now. So I'm gonna create as a record type. Specifically, let's put this on account record type. Oh, no, no problem. Restaurant. Let's give this way. So restaurant record type is the record type value. You can give a category. Yes, they all fall under the record types. Tomorrow you can filter them by record type. What is the value that we have? So I think save it. So now a label called as name underscore record type. It's been opened up. So what you do is you don't give this instead of this, you're going to give label dot. So that way there's no single codes and hardcode type is used. So it'll go to this label and find out the restaurant record type. What is the value we have over there? And have this way here. So this avoids even touching a code. This avoids even touching a code. Directly you can go as a configuration stuff. You can go and edit. Tomorrow restaurant change to something else. You can modify the value here. restaurant ABC, something you want to have a value here. You're trying to upgrade. So that way, you need not to change a code here directly in the Apex class. So just simply change a value in the custom label like this. So this will impact the values of overwriting, whatever existing value there. So this will avoid you hard coding things or touching the Apex class multiple times. Even for hot, okay, label dot hot, something you have, that's good enough. Again, if it's changed to hot crispy or something, whatever you want, you can change anything as a value here. So that value would reflect that. We're trying to no, recover such any chances that you're getting to hard code the value. Just we have to avoid it. That's a best practice what Salesforce says. Why it is a best practice? Because there would be a chances where you are trying to modify the Apex class. Let's say these are an error. So how sure we are the same error would be not till the last. So client is seeing the such error, and at the last when the production such error they're seeing it, I think there's a verbiage missing here. So they say there's something and then they ask you to modify. Now you cannot come to all together to developer or from there you do modification and push all together to the production. So that is a big pain. So if you have a custom label like this, each arg you can go modify the value so that that error message is modified, and that is will automatically reflect to the particular label here, whatever is referenced. Still more easy. Guys, getting what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
It's just like a reference copy. You create somewhere as a label and then you try to use there. So record restaurant ABC, no, it's restaurant AB, it's restaurant. Yeah, I think we're good here. Okay, let me explain the code what we have done. Why too many things we're changing. So in the before update, I think so we wanted to do an update activity, but I also need to know, hey, if your billing street is not null because you're trying to do an update activity where such new address have been placed, there's no restaurant in that. Then what should I do? I shouldn't leave my parent record as a blank. Agreed? So if you are into a restaurant, so if you don't have a parent record, look at the crazy. If you don't have a parent record, where actually I'm saying India Mart should report or the nearest branch is restaurant is McDonald's Hyderabad. How it has come to McDonald's Hyderabad? Because they give an address, such address is not present. Kompoli is not present in any of our record. So then this address is new. We don't have any restaurant in that place. So we should not leave the restaurant as blank here. We should point something nearest to that particular record. So then while figuring it out, India Mart has a record as named as Hyderabad city. Okay, now if Kompoli is not present, at least we'll take the city. With the help of the city, I would try to find out an account, and that is something as a type specifically should be restaurant, and that restaurant appearing to be into this parent account. So basically, this India Mart has the nearest restaurant is McDonald's Hyderabad. It is good, right? So when you are working with something, um, as an example, you go to a particular place. Let's say a simple bank only. I'm saying you're trying to create an account. Always an account is tied up to a branch. Without a branch, we can't create an account. Accepted. Now you are trying to do an online creation of an account. So at that time, it doesn't ask you which branch you wanted to go through. It doesn't ask you. You straight away start filling your form, and you fill the address. And the address you think that it is a very, in a very rural area or a remote place. Now I don't know where the nearest branch would look like for you, and the address whichever is given to you, given by you, may not be present in nearest branch. So then what is my ideal idea should be? If I don't find a nearest branch based on your address which was given, of course I should find some alternate way. I cannot give you, left as an orphan to you. You have an account but you don't have a branch. That cannot happen at all. So no one will be able to maintain you. So that is the reason in this case, if the address is not found, it's okay, still fine. So I'll go to the next higher level, to the city wider. Okay, to that at least a city, there's a branch. Okay, if city is not there, okay, come back to the state. If state also is not there, then come back to a country level. So that was my motive. Okay, of course the state would be there, of course the city would be the city. For sure a branch is there. If your nearest areas are not having, let me have a city based restaurant that would be pointing to everyone. If there is a too many demands happening from the company, of course we'll open a restaurant there, and then we will do an update for everyone. Okay, this is your replacement of restaurant. No more Hyderabad. It will be McDonald's Hyderabad company. Is getting
Yeah.
okay. So that's a basically an alternate way to find out if the street is not found. We go back to a city. If street is there, we'll stick to city street only, and we'll assign street name only there, street branch only there. So that is all my idea here. So to that, what it is, first we wanted to figure out, are you in a billing street? If in the billing street you're not present, then we're going to find the city. So while doing that, okay, why I have too many things here as a filter, if you see, go find the billing street. Okay, the name whatever given. Parent ID not equal to null. Of course, so what happens sometime, there could be records. If the parent ID is null, only your parent class, who is that? Your head branch can have a null parent because we are the hierarchy in the top. So could we want not to be null? Basically, this account, whichever the parent not to be null, and the record type which I wanted is should have a restaurant record type only. There are multiple accounts, don't pick everything. If I do that, then some other business account or person account also may come in. So I want to specifically deal that bring only restaurant records because we are creating this record is purposely for to find the nearest restaurant branch. So my intention was to bring my only the restaurant records, and the record is found based on the distributor which we given. We'll try to pull the record and return them, or else we set it to null. Why null is because if street is null, then only I can jump to the else part. So that's the reason I'm returning null here. Likewise, same here first the city. So restaurant if I found, okay, cool enough. Then find the city of that particular account record. Since because you're not found in billing street, only you're coming to city. And by city, I would try to find some account with the account ID or parent ID not null. If I found, I am written that record, or else I'm written null. So that will allow you to bring to the populate the billing street city. So India Mart is the one which I created the record. If today you go here and you modify, you try to modify it, right? But according to the logic, it will go try to figure out and get the latest record. And that is still the same. You can't delete and throw it away. It is all coming from the trigger, which is doing calculation and bringing the right record and assigning to this. Though you try to delete also, it will bring the same. That means the calculation is very perfect. Okay, for this, we didn't find a street. Okay, we find a city, and that city guy restaurant is this guy. So any question, Jamson?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. So any other you have questions? So we have 2 minutes left
Mm,
here. So if any questions, I mean, answer to you guys. So the other one is like in the not delete before delete we have. So the before delete we are trying to say that hey, if your rating is hard and I'm not deleting you because you are my premium customers, I cannot delete you. Why we say hot is you have been showed a couple of interests with us and then you might have bought something from us and then I assume that you're a premium guy and we meant your rating as hot. And now what happens if you try to delete them? So then I'm stopping them. So this is you can achieve with the validation rule only. Absolutely, this can be achieved by through validation rule. So finding a billing state or city, this could not be found via through normal process builder or maybe um, via through flows. Could be if you call a flows or if you call a process builder, you have to invoke a class, Apex class, and you have to check there and then you have to do decide. So rather we can trigger only. Even the flows or Apex class, sorry, process builder also can call an Apex class. You can also do a configuration stuff there. That comes configuration plus again an Apex code. So then trigger is much better, I thought. So to write a trigger actually for this logic. But this could be achieved using validation rule only. What is saying is if the rating is not, if the rating is double equal to hard and you are not allowing to delete the record, you can throw an error message saying that, um, sorry, So you can prevent by using validation rule saying that rating is equal to hot. So delete operations. I think that you cannot do it. Validation rule can stop um, based on value. Okay. On delete, they can't stop it. So here also why it is not in validation rule and um, something that with the delete they can't do it. So that is the reason we have jumped into trigger here. I can say, hey, there's a based on this value, you are hot. Delete is an actions. You can't control actions in the validation rule. So that's the reason we have written this. I said in validation rules, yes, you can stop them. Maybe based on the conditions you're giving it, but you can't stop a record by deleting them. Do you have any questions here which are saying here? Before delete also we can apply through validation rule, but an actions that we're trying to do is on a delete only you have to throw this error. Such advanced level we don't have in validation rule. So that is good to have in the trigger. One trigger can stop you on some deleting record. You can say um, use validation rule.
You see?
This is validation rule is not works on a prevents of deletion of record. You can use trigger for a prevention of deletion record. Validation rule records only works on it to determine the formula validates to be true. Something that something that when I say a rating is equal to hot or something, and you don't allow some logic things, I can do them. But on actions, I cannot do it. For example, here, India, you are trying to do this. So I can say you something that account number cannot be blank, and you're trying to save. I say that, hey boss, fill this record. Because I'm doing a validation that data should be perfect enough. Or if you're saying that hot, a hot record is there, for sure you should enter inside the account number. Okay? If the rating is hot, you must insert the account number. If the rating is hot, you should fill the phone number fax. If rating is something like warm or cold, we don't care anything. But if this rating is hot, I must have this all these four values should be there. So these are the use cases where validation rule can apply. But deleting a record, so they can't do anything. It is all left to the actions in. So that's the reason I said you can do a validation basically by checking the conditions, but not on a delete event of that something. So any questions here? Is any questions here?
No, no.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so let me complete this first sentence properly. So they saying validation rules can work only onto this. This is a good sentence. Let me. So on delete event, they can't stop it. Validation rule, they can stop. Validation rules, we can put the same. Hmm, hmm. The formula evaluates to true is okay. The record has been true is hot, and when the record is true for the hot, so make sure you fill the phone number, email, or something. If this condition is false, so we don't care about that particular validation. We just simply allow them to save. So that is what it all talks about validation rule. Okay, to avoid that, we are using this. So why I'm just remembering all your point click is what to say? Why I'm remembering all your point click is so why we are going into more advanced when it is not applicable in the validation rule. When it will not be applicable in validation rule. So for that person, we have taken up this one. All right. So let's get into an after trigger. So after trigger, the motive is let's say not onto the same object. Till now, till now we were figuring it out and updating on the same record, and we're doing a change on the same record. But now the changes we're going to expect on some other records. You getting? So till here, your trigger impact was on the same object. Now your trigger impact would be on some other object. But from where it triggered it, that is actually means here. Trigger point is still the account only, but you are updating some other records. After updating this only, you're trying to do a change on some other. After inserting of this record, you're trying to import another object. Something on the same record you want to do, then you always go to before. That is the intention of it. So now let's do a simple after insert record. Condition could be whenever I create an account, let me randomly create a contact, or just go check the contact. Anything could be. After an insert, only then I deal with this. After insert means what? After inserting an account, it could be new account. Only after inserting an account only I'll do this activity. Something like that it is. So you write a logic, and if you don't specify here, that will never work. So make sure your logic also before that you specify your what is it? Event should be specified here. Very important. And then you can start write logic like this. Same. After insert this, then again after update, after delete, same thing. Account trigger handler. Now it is no more before, it is after insert. Now let's say you are getting with the trigger dot after inserting a record. Yes, of course you can have a new map. Anything is fine. Let's start reading. See, with the help of trigger dot new also you can achieve. With a new map also you can achieve. However, I have an ID of this record. So that's the reason I'm saying new map. How you will have an ID? Yes, of course, a new record which I created here. So the moment this record is got created, I would have an ID of it, and then plus the recorded entire information. So that is what is flowing here in the new map. The same thing cannot be applied here. Why? Because in the before is it's about to insert a record. It's about to insert a record. I don't have an ID at all. After inserting the account record, I may have an idea of it. So that would come here. Is getting? So this method is not there, so that we have to implement them. And let's write a before methods. Let these two methods, whatever it did, let it go to the downside. They are like helper methods again inside. So let's write the method now. Public static void after insert. So what we're trying to do here is after insert I said. So we are trying to take a map. So map would be having ID comma account. Correct, right? So trigger.new map will hold the properties of ID comma account. And I say this is new map. Is any questions? Please let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
So I am very sure about here, properly adding the events, and then my traffic signal of after is also inserted. I called a method which passes my trigger.new map. Okay, this new map along with the ID which is flowing ID comma account would be there in this new map. Same thing I try to capture here in my method as this. So it allowed me to save. So then we are good here. Our method signatures and what we're trying to pass, everything is good here. So next was what is our idea is if I try to do an activity and after insert of an account, so what is your intention? Okay, let me go to contact, or let me go to something. What you can do is you can create a task. Of course, every time a new business customer has been created, I wanted to create a separate task and ask them to follow up. Of course, this could be achieved in the process builder only, you can ask me. Yes, of course. On a creating of new record only, you can create a task, right? In the workflow also it is achievable. The moment you create a record and the record type is let's say business account, fire an alert to someone, fire an alert to the respective guys. Yes, you can do them. But I'm just going to show simple changes here. Okay, how this would work. The moment an account is created, a task needs to be created here. If you wish, you can create a task. If you wish, you can create a contact also. Anything is possible, but I just want to show that different record, different object. That is more than enough for me. Okay, new account is coming in. So how do you parse this account? So this is in a map. So let's take an example. So the contact. Okay, assume that I'm gonna create a new contact for that particular business guys. Hmm. So list of contact, and the contact I'm gonna say it insert contact list. This is a new insert contact list. I'm creating it here. Hmm. So why you want to have a list here is because it can be one or more records. So I'm just bulkifying this code. So I'm just for my purpose. I'm just creating this list. So why list if you say helps to, because did you see this? In any of the case, I didn't use in a before trigger. I didn't use any DML statement for updating. I didn't use any update record into insert record into or delete action. I didn't do. But why I should write an after record insert as a statement? Because you're not doing on the same object. You're doing on different object. Of course, you have to specify. Are you inserting, updating, deleting something? You have to specify in after logic for sure. But before triggers and majority, we don't have any DML statements. They should be noted. So I can write here only. Um, Before triggers, um, they don't have any DML statements. So that could be um, insert record. Okay, so this could be database dot insert update delete records. Guys, watching? Insert ABC, delete ABC, update ABC, whatever it is. This all states as a DML statements. So before triggers, they don't have a DML statements. Yes, we didn't use any of them so far. And after triggers, I'm saying may have DML statements since you are impacting the other object. It is not may, it should have it actually. Or else without doing any DML activity, they will not update or save. So there's no again meaning in that. After triggers have um, so I'm saying that they should must have a DML statements. If they don't have, they can't implement anything onto the other object. So the entire the logic, the purpose itself is will not suffice in updating them. So are you guys clear here? So you can proceed next.
Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay. Okay. Quickly let me jump here. So let me jump into after trigger. I just created some list here. So on insert of an account, sorry, yeah, on insert of an account, I'm trying to create a new contact. It's not only to be new contact, you can update the existing contact also for the, so anything is fine. But of course, I'm gonna create a new contact. Inserting of an account, I'm trying to insert a new contact. Uh, Let me process this for loop, insert the for loop. The new map which is flowed in, and the new map flowed in, I need to take them. See, in this forest loop, always the right hand side is a bulk record, right? A list of records is flows in. Yes or no? In the forest loops, my right hand side always will be having a a list of records which is process, or something like a collections they have to process, isn't it? Is there?
Yeah.
So this new map, I can't give just like that as a new map here. So either you are processing a key or you are processing a value. You should specify that. You can't tell directly a map there. So that is not possible. So ideally, I wanted values here because the values have an account record here. Values as an account, key as an ID. With ID, I can't do anything. With account record information which is flowing in, I can using them I can create a contact. With ID, what I can do max. So what I'm trying to do is
Account.
account acc is equal to this. So this can have a one record, can have a bunch of records, all that takes here as a values, and then we process one each of the record here to account, and then using this we try to create a new contact. So I'm gonna say contact con is equal to new contact. Why a singleton I'm instantiating here is because each record, it could be one record which is flowing as an account, or it could be multiple accounts flowing in. For each of them, we should have an account. We should have a contact also. So con dot, so last name. If we go to an account, what fields we have? Let's say he's coming as a business customer. I'm just saying next. So he's giving account name. So instead of this nearest restaurant, I have not used anywhere. So I would wish to change this guy to what is it? To a primary name. Some name I'm going to change them because with the nearest restaurant already we are mapping with the parent ID only. So let me change that guy name. So if the field is not useful, change them to whichever is required for us. I'm not saying nearest restaurant. I'm saying primary. Um, just I'm just giving it as a primary name. So at least I don't have a contact. At least I could refer to the primary name. So saving this. If this particular API is not referenced anywhere, it will allow you to save. If somewhere is referenced, it will tell you boss go change or take off the value from there and then you come and save it here. So I feel that it has not been used anywhere, so I can easily use them here. Account dot. So what are the primary name that you given? So I gonna give map it to your last name. So we know that any guys who have a primary name at the very beginning we insert that then we're putting them to a last name of contact. And let's see another the field is matching. So fax, phone. Okay, phone would match. So the company of this phone would match to a primary also. Do they have phone? Just the phone they have. Okay, this is majority of the company information. I just wanted to have basic information to be created for contact. So con dot, so their phone. So I'm assigning to the account dot phone. So getting this account phone number I'm mapping to contact. Primary name of the account I'm mapping to the last name. So that's how I'm trying to add them to a proper list. So you can't do any DML statements in the for loop. So you are trying to add to this list. Add the contact record to a list. That list is this. It's a list type actually. You can have a list name here to understand easily. To this list, I'm adding the value. Dot add. Add is a method that we have. So you need to add the singleton records of the same data type of contact, right? So why I'm putting the whole record? Yes, of course, you given last name, phone. You can have a bunch of fields you would have mapped. All that goes in one go here. So you're inserting a list here. The same we are trying to map the value there. Just a second. So I've added a list here. So then what happens? Okay, the list is ready. So now you try to say that insert this contact list. Is any questions here? A new map which is flooded and they're absolutely their account. And with the help of the account, you're trying to process the contact and you're inserting the contact here. So on insert, after insert of an account, you're trying to create a contact. So this is after insert you say. After inserting of a contact only you can create a sorry. After inserting of an account, only then we say you can create a contact. So without that you can cannot expect a new contact there. Yes. Any questions here?
No, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this insert is if it is very flat, you wanted to wrap up them with the proper methods where we say, uh, let me just open this. So not new class. Let me try to open simple advanced class. I don't know in which particular class I have thought about. Hmm. Sample student constructor. Didn't I explain about database.Saveresult? Because didn't I have talked about database.Saveresult? No? Yes.
I don't recollect, guys.
So you have never heard of such name as. I'm just seeing that whether I have gone through the previous class of any of them. Okay. If not, we have gone through, for sure we have to implement them. So those are very important. Now let me have a database.Saveresult here. Database.Save result. So what this is indicates is, so you guys can have a question to me saying that, hey, I'm inserting 10 records. So out of the 10 records which is went in, one guy has an issue, which required field missed. But the only one that record has to get failure and rest of the 9 records has to pass, or because the one simple change or the error it occurred on one record, should I revoke or I mean don't execute for all the 10 records? You guys getting the questions? If past 10 records, one of them fail, should I revoke the 9 records also? Or okay, only one guy had an issue, leave him, put him into error case, and rest of the 9 records, let's insert them. What do you think in current state it will work? Okay, themselves. You guys getting what I'm trying to ask you? Hello.
Yeah, one insert failed. Do you want to roll back or you want to continue, right?
Yeah. So to that, we have something called as database.Save results. Let's say on insert or update, whatever you do. one single record got failed. So this save results will allow you to process the rest of the records, whichever the record which got failed, it will skip out from them list. But currently, whatever the insert update we are doing it in other sample classes all, if one class, I mean, if one of the records get failed, the whole list would be failed. It will revoke everything. It doesn't say that it will pass 5 records to 6 records. If one change gone, everything is revoked. But the database.save results will prevent from us from that. Okay. So
Okay.
now let me write statement for this database.save results. Um, let's see results. So here what is expected is, so you need to pass a params called as um, database dot insert. You see this? Guys, do you see this? Database dot insert list of objects where it is intentionally for the database dot save results. I'm gonna use them. List of S object indicates we are sending a list of records. So of course it's a list of records, right? So we no more going to deal with this insert, simple insert. So I'll put it here. This may roll back, sorry, roll back all the records when. So this statement will roll back for sure. So this statement will roll back all the records when one of the records errors out. So very dangerous if it just flat leaves like this. And this statements allow you to save you from the operations when 1,000 record goes in and one record it got missed. It's okay, fine. Let's say triple N records it insert. So what you have to do is you have to say false here. So this false indicates you are trying to bypass them. It's okay, fine. Go inside the records. If you say true, it'll again work like this only because you're saying that you're not allowing them. I'm saying that rollback false. I'm saying here. If you say true, yes, you're indirectly doing the same operations. You're saying okay, let's say roll back everyone. Is getting? So this is how it works. Now the save results database.insert. You pass this collection and then you put files. So this statement allow you to. So this statement allows you to save the record irrespective of errors occurred. Irrespective of the errors occurred, it will skip them and allow to process with other records. Of course, you are having errors, so we don't allow you to save, but we just keep you, and then whoever is having the perfect records, we'll allow them to save. That is the intention of this. Now, if you want to specifically track of your, hey, you are error, hey, you are success, you want to print why the error has occurred, all that you want to do, you can refer to this database save results. They will give a code of it. So you have to re-implement the same. If you go to developer guide, so they give a sample code like this. See, so database.save results. database insert the list you're specifying here, and this is how you iterate it. So in this case, what you're trying to do is the code which I'm trying to copy here. It indicates or it indicates the results which is flowed in. So that is called as the right side we going. So we iterating over them and we're checking, hey boss, you are in a success phase. Let's print that successfully print the account record here. Else, so operation fail, whatever the SR we got, no, the results whatever we got in the SR we're trying to take their success and their failure. SR.e success you're doing it. SR.get errors means is getting to say that hey, which are the errors we got it. Is any questions?
No.
So ideally we want to track which are the records got success and which are record failure. So now you do a bulk update here or a bulk insert here. So it'll clearly tell you where went wrong. Now let's do a real-time example here. Go all together, insert a new record. And I should be very specific here. Only for the business guys I have to do this. I shouldn't do for restaurant. Where restaurant contact is required. Only for a business or individual I require customers. Like say contact. Restaurant will always have employees, not the customers. I mean, customer contacts will not be tied up to these guys. Eventually, an account has been tied up to a restaurant. That is fine. But I want every business customer will have a primary contact or individual customer themselves. They are becoming a contact. So that way, I should be key enough here to say the account record which is flowing in. Are you a of a record type? What is that? Are you of a record type not equal to restaurant? So only then I'll follow this, or else I'll not even require this. So I'll go back to the previous scenario, something like which you pulled the record type. I would say here condition. So this you can populate here only, no problem. Let's say fetch the restaurant. So via through this you're trying to fetch the record type ID. So what my condition is, I'm gonna say that if the account whatever it is flowing in, account dot record type ID not equal to this ID. Only then I'll allow you to create such contacts. Because I don't want you to be a restaurant. I want you to be either a business customer or individual customer. Only then it matches to me. So I'm saying that you should not be a restaurant. So you if you go here and say click new and you try to click a restaurant, so I would not create a contact for you. Is it getting? So my intention is only for us to focus on a business customers or individual customers to create a contact for them instantly. Is any questions here? So based on this if loop, it indicates need only for okay, let's put this way. Not need to create a contact only for business account or a individual account. So not for the restaurant. So this indicates this record type is typically for record fetch record restaurant record type. So I think we're good there. All right.
So you are filtering out that condition, huh?
Yeah. So I'm just saying that
Business account.
account dot
Restaurant.
account dot record type which is flowing here in here account record no
Uh-huh.
it is flowing from the original map,
Okay.
and that map will say that whether you belong to which type of record you are inserting in. Correct, right? So this new trigger.new map will indicate me which record this guy is creating the account.
Business or individual customer.
Any one of them you would choose for sure. You would have chosen restaurant for sure. Restaurant ID would be there for particular the account which you created. So whichever the account type ID you are creating it, based on that only I'll flow this. So the incoming my record account type, I would get to know that if it is a business account. So here it is a business account. Of course, that is not equal to whatever this record type ID which is flowed from the restaurant record type. When they are not equal, of course you get inside. If your record type which you are creating here and the record type here which you fetched for the restaurant, if both are equal, so then we'll get to know. Okay, but they are having the same record type, so we'll not allow them. Correct, right? Not equal is what both should be different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then that is a case where you try to add a contact to this list, and then you process the list to insert the record. And thereafter you have a success and failure based on the record which is flowing in. Maybe important field last name only you missed. It'll fetch to an error sign. If you're having everything is right, so then it'll say that hey boss, this is all success. That's how it to deal with this. And tomorrow, people we don't want this all system debugs. Please throw it this off. And I want it as a record where it is exactly went wrong. I can't keep checking the logs. If they say yes, of course we have to insert no implement the error events where we have error object. All we track this all this information is in the error object list. Like how you today seeing all this account record, we'll see error records like this. So you'll click why it went wrong yesterday, where what error, all that you could see in a readable format. Where this that and this debug result will not be useful to us. So we should do that also. In advanced class, let's do that. So any questions till now here?
No.
No.
Okay. So now I'm just I've put the condition as this. My record type should not be equal. Now I'm good to go create a business customer. So let's create a business customer. And I say, so this time, mm, so do we have any Tata Motors in the first? No. This is the company which I'm giving. It's a business customer. And I'm saying it is rating as hot. And could be any the number I can give it. Phone number randomly I'm giving it. And a restaurant. Oh, where is that? Oh, still this is showing as nearest restaurant, but the values we got changed it to don't worry. So maybe in the UI it didn't refresh value properly. So nearest restaurant is not the value now. It is the parent. What is that? Primary contact name. So here let me give my name as in the Tata Motors. Who is the primary name? If you see, mm, so I'm just giving it the data and I'm saving this record. Okay, before that, billing state something you want to have? Yes, of course. I'm putting as Gachibowli, Hyderabad. Save it. So a record has got saved for Tata Motors, and I go for details. I don't see on insert. I have a logic to present for Tata Motors. Oh my God, why the primary name is not saved here? I given a primary name here, right? What happened? What are you doing on insert? Before insert, you're trying to fetch the billing Sydney name. Okay. But I given you Ratan Tata. Where it went? Okay. So do we have Gachibowli there? Is the name is wrong? Control F Gachibowli. Yeah, this also is correct. Oh, forgot. Hitishira. So what I could see the error from this is, so from an record which I tried to insert Tata Motors and their record as a Gachibowli. So where the parent record is null. How can a Gachibowli restaurant can have a parent that is null? So that's the reason it failed out. Why? Because to find a restaurant by street, so we have written a method, and that method indicates their parent ID should not be null. Of course, every restaurant should they will have a parent record. No, it's a chain of business where my restaurant will have my parent where I'm reporting to. Another that restaurant will always report to the other one, and so on. It goes to the headquarters. So like this ways, so this guy has left as a blank value. So that's the reason it got an impacted here. So Hyderabad Gachibowli means you should report to Hyderabad. So that is missing. It should have reported to Hyderabad. Then it would have saved. So no problem. So let me try to create another record. Or if I try to update also, it would work for sure. Um, Still now I have inserted on insert only. I don't want it to go to an update. If I try to update this, it will be an update. So I don't want that. So let me see. Priorly, all the code is logic is perfect working. After insert, yeah, after insert, new map. So you are getting me the value. So in the new map, yes, you have new map. Conduct values, record type, last name, primary name, and that is allowed here to print out the values. That's all fine. And let's see the y again. I'll check. Sorry, not parent. Primary name. So that particular field is editable to all. So it's good enough. So all I want to check that particular field is accessible, which we created. Okay, this is good enough here also. So let me try to create new record, and my last name should match with last name as Ratan Tata. Should be given here. It's okay, fine. So where's that record? I'll copy this. I'll try to delete this record again. It's okay. Oh, the rating is hot, so cannot delete crazy. So whatever the program written, that only will cost us. Since we given our details, right? If your rating is hot, I cannot delete you. So why I want to delete is because it's a business customer, they should have a contact. So don't want some dummy data to be present here. So I deleted them. It's okay. It went off. See, the condition is it's not hot, so it deleted. If it is hot, we will not allow to delete them. So I'll create a business customer now here. Say next. And I want Tata Motors only. And primary account, parent account I shouldn't give. and I want to give them hot. What is this nearest restaurant? Here it is. Let me check in my layout why it should always say me in. So I'm into the business account. Yeah, primary name. Yeah, so it says primary name, but this guy still says anyway. So Ratan Tata and phone number is some number. So let's turn off the debug log. If something goes wrong, I would indicate you logs with what happened. Clear logs, so everything is cleared. Let's say name, perfect. Rating, phone, all this is what we require. Billing street, I'm saying this is as Gachibowli. Gachibowli. It's a correct name. It doesn't works. This is for an update we have to do with this. Hyderabad. But this is still an after incident only. I'm gonna save this. Something went wrong. Let's do these details. Why the primary name is not getting inserted? So that is one thing you have to check. And something going wrong here. What is that, doctor? Oh my god, such a big log generated. So we got a line error from the following errors occurred while creating the contact. So what wrong? What went wrong? Record type not equal to this. Agree? So went here. Primary name is blank. Phone is okay. Something they have. I think this contact has went on with the without a last name. And then while you're trying to do an error, you got the error here. The following error occurred. Status code get fields. So this is what they're saying. Last name itself is missing. So why it was missing? So let me get to any of the logs we have. So this log indicates for contact. Let's see some of the logs here. Required field is missing. Okay. Look at this. This is a record which is going in. How come this is missed out? So have your billing city as Hyderabad, rating as hot. Hmm? Name is this. Why the contact primary name is not been taken here? So let me print. If something goes wrong like this, what you have to do is you have to put a debug and check them. So we don't have another option. System.debug. In the debug, it indicates action account record. So give them this way. Icon dot primary name, what it is. Okay, we'll try to print this. Of course, this may not have it. Um, so here I'm just saying new map. So entire new map values will try to print it out. It's the very simple way. I don't know. Only one trigger we have, so we're good there. And that trigger says before to insert. It's all before. We are on after side. In the before, we have very simple record. Just we populate the parent ID. That's all we do it. So let me try to debug here also. So while you're trying to insert print the record which is inserting. But because this is recorded at the very beginning and before, they are trying to insert, only then we are impacting the after, right? So let's say new records which is flowing in. And I want to know that so what is your account dot primary is doing. So this I want to debug here. So though we know that it's in a pre-populated value, something is missing. I want to just check that. Okay, let's go to debug log and again clear this. So I'm gonna create new account. So prior to that, so let me just jump to the Kukatpally and see. So they have an address of Kukatpally. Yeah, so they have Kukatpally and the address is also perfect. So let me try to insert a record for Kukatpally. So new account I'm just trying to insert. Mm, so I don't do anything here. Phone, I'm gonna give them no number. So this is still confusing. Why nearest to start? Let me do. Okay, primary name it's properly now. So Taj Hotel. So what did I do is I just did a Control Shift R. That will refresh the cache. So whatever the previous name it went off. Since it's a browser, sometimes cache should be there. So I give Sobra is my contact name. So just given his name, and I'm gonna give Kukatpalli the street and Hyderabad as a city. All right. So prior to this, I'm gonna create all the debug logs if I don't want anything. So only after save I need to get something. Save this record. Still something went wrong. The parent record is not fetched. So let's quickly check the logs here. What is happening? See, everywhere they have it. Crazy this is. So this which I'm trying to find in 5 line that is on the before trigger. 40 and 43 are onto the after trigger. Let's come to line number 40 and 43. So I printed on 5 and 6, it printed me. Let's say 5 and 6. Line number 5 and 8, what we had is new records flowing in. Kukatpalli, other stuff they are having it along with that few. Fine. And the 8 line number 8. So they are printing the account primary name. Is of course Obrai came here. So Obrai came here. 40, 43, what are you doing? So Taj Hotel, record type ID, parent ID, null, Kukatpalli. Billing country, all these are okay. 40th line, let's go. In the 40th line, I'm trying to print the whole new records which is given. In the 43rd one, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to print the account dot primary name. There's one thing we have done a mistake here is oh, I got it now. Okay, account dot primary name, though it had a value, it's perfect. So that is what it printed here. Yes, in the 43 line, still they get the account primary name. Yeah, something goes wrong here, and you never insert any value here. With the dummy list, we're trying to do an insert activity here. So bad. So we didn't check the list is not empty, then only proceed here. This list is going empty. Of course, they're going empty. And with the empty records, you're trying to do an insert activity here. Since it is database.Saveresult, though it is empty, they're saying, boss, you are in error state. Like a try catch on, they are trying to handle it. Because you know, right, the record which is flowing in has a empty record, as last name as an empty record. Of course, they will go to error state. So this is doing its purpose, what it is. Of course, a record which is skipped, which is got failed, they are moving on to the next. They don't have any record to move on next, so they are just running out of this. So what went wrong here? That is what we have to understand. Account dot record type ID. We need to see a record type ID which is flowing here. So this record type ID is what? So I will try to put the value there and then execute. So I need to get that record type ID. So it's business customer. It is getting correct. So then what it is missing as a record type? Restore. So this guy's record type ID is different. So what I said, according to my logic, if your account record type not equal to this record type ID, makes sense, right? So what we have in the labels, just let me go to get the labels. Let me go to R. Just a minute. So what went wrong here is correct, right? Mm, So according to us, this record type ID is getting something here. Of course, this is correct. If the account record type ID is not equal to this, only then I set flow in. So what's wrong with this? I should have printed this. So bad. It's okay. So we'll quickly check this. What is this record type is doing? So don't mind, guys. This is how we do a debug. Okay. So this is how this record type which indicates. So what value we have been fetched here? Or this is not equal to this. Only then it will work, right? Only then I'll get inside. Since it's not getting inside this, so we didn't allow to inside the record. So now I should pamper these guys with if the record is not null, or else it'll keep going on error state. So let me put this way: if whatever inserted record shouldn't be empty, you getting? If the record is not empty, only then you get into this set statement, or else it is useless. If the contact list dot is empty, that means not empty. You just press it. I'm saying. Control Shift tab. So is empty is a method, so you have to properly open and close. Yeah. So now we've been a good phase. Yes, you dealt with not equal to this. If no records here, we'll never get into this phase at all. And moreover, if this is not empty, then we'll say go and insert the record. So let's do this now. And I want to make sure what record type which is flowing in here, which we're trying to get dynamically, and the account record which is flowing in here. So they have a business record type. So they also absolutely good. So where it is went wrong, I want to just check them. Let me insert record only again. So since this is code, it will quickly delete it off. So new customer as a business customer. So next, Taj Hotel. Okay, so before saying this, if I found any logs, let me delete them. So for quick reference, yeah. So now let me save this. Actually, I saw a record and it's getting deleted. Actually, I saw a record and it's getting deleted. Let me go to recycle bin. I want to check what is happening in recyclement. I saw a record. Okay, no problem. So yeah, customer contact should be one. So it's missing there. Quickly, let me come to here and then debug this guys. See, everything is perfect, right? Why it is not getting inside? This record type ID, of course, this is not equal to this record type ID, which is flowed in as restaurant. Both record type not ID is equal, then you get inside the logic. Why it is not getting inside?
Insert before operation is happening or something.
No, no, we getting still here. No, we getting primary. We're checking. We are checking the record type. Now the record type which you are flowing, and I'm checking both are not equal to null, and I'm just getting inside the contact and trying to create a new record. So all this is fine. It's not even getting here. If I don't have the statement, I think it will absolutely work. But what is intention? Oh, yeah, what is intention? I am so sorry, guys. I'm so much sorry here. So we have all given here, but we didn't map the contact to an account. So that's a very, very, very crazy thing. So this all is fine. So every contact which you create, you have an account ID there. You have to map them, right? They're child object. How a Taj Hotel I say here is an account name. I didn't map anything in the code. So this is a silly thing. Contact dot account. Getting this? Only when I map an account to this contact. So this guy is a child guy, and I have to map to his parent record. No. Now let's go see in the contact. There's a bunch of records to be created because whatever we tried, it is all there only. This is
Okay.
Obrai. Who else? Ratan Tata also should be there. I think. It is getting created, but it is never mapped to. What do you say? Ratan Tata. Here only you can search.
So the relationship didn't happen.
Yeah. So Obrai is there. Who else? So I think while writing Obrai, I think something I missed. Sorry, Tata. Now till now, I think as I was given Obrai only. I think. Hmm. So now this should work, guys, for sure. What did I miss is, of course, they are creating a contact, but they are not showcasing to you what is missed. Okay, anyway, now it has been clearly saying that record type and not equal to this, and contact dot account ID is equal to this. This all should work fine. Getting? And what is missing in my billing street? So this is what is making confusion. Why it is not allowing to pick up the parent record? So your street address you are giving, and I'm just getting in here. So record type ID. Oh, look at this. The record type ID, which I'm just flowing in as record type ID. This select name from the record type ID. This is also correct only. Go get me the parent ID not equal to null, and the record type ID is this. And then we find the billing state and then give the account ID. So this is also absolutely fine. So we go there also. So account ID, I have given this map. This is very important. This connects the contact and account. Within a parent and child, I think if you try to make, that will be a big difference where the records are not tied up. Of course, randomly a record is getting created. We have been okay with that. So you are expecting a customer record along with this. You should have a child records in their Taj hotel only. So in that case, I think we have to map that particular customer to this account ID. Only then it get mapped. Okay. Anyway, I'll try to get new contact, new account. There's too many contacts we can see already. Business customer. So I'll map it to Kukatpally only. Oh, sorry. This Kukatpally spelling again. Hmm. Some random name giving it. So name, phone numbers are here. So name, street I've given. So now let me save it. After saving the Roman tiles record, yes, finally I could see Jiva Rao here. Why? Because you tied up to an account to that particular contact, so it matched here. You guys getting? After inserting an account, you defaultly inserted a contact here. I didn't do anything on the contact, so contact is automatically created. So your phone number and the primary name, whatever you give an account, with the help of that, I'm trying to create a contact here. You see this? Hey Murthy, what happened? Hey Murthy, you missed it?
Yeah, just my internet got lost. I just
Okay, no problem. So, Tushara, you were just following this?
Yeah.
Okay, now what we did is to regain again. So we know that we have mapped the account ID to this contact ID. So this connects a contact and account. So we were able to fetch the nearest value. To do this,
okay.
we have a couple of debugs also report where went wrong what we saw. And then we remember that, okay, the record is getting created. So this is a simple thing will not get mapped. So that's still fine. Um, then I created an account record. So what did I do is, so the moment I created an account, automatically a contact is created for me. So this is what is our expectation. Though still now contacts were created, if they would have mapped, it would have shown here. So since it is not mapped, it's not shown. You went to customer contacts and you saw, and you were seeing there the results. So if you come here and check Jiva, see you have a Jiva here. So like that, the records are present in the customer contacts. It is created, but it was not mapped on account. So now we can be very sure that the account has got mapped. So Roman tiles is the one which is here. Any questions here? So what I
Now,
could see is Roman tile should get to me based on my address. If Kokatipalli is not there, so you should have got at least. So let me put this Hyderabad here and save it. Now I'm doing an update operation. This is a before update only. I'm not saying it's an after update. So let me check whether at least now you're bringing the parent ready. Hmm. Okay, the parent recorded but as McDonald's Hyderabad. Okay, fine. Something the value which is given here maybe not mapping with the any other guys. So that's the reason what McDonald's Hyderabad. We don't have any specific call Kokatpalli here. So this is called as filter view, guys. So whenever I'm seeing list views of restaurants, I'm just seeing. What could believe we have? Oh, this guy, I think the bandit is not. This is also correct. You instead of Kukatpalli, I put as Kuttapalli. This is the reason not populating. Yes, if you have data issues, then I think this would have surely not worked. Instead of Kukatpalli, I put as Kuttapalli. You're getting that? If a record is already found and they're having it, it's a crazy thing. So which is a record? Okay, Roman tiles, right? So I go in to go see this McDonald's. No, there is actually a branch also for this. Let me just edit this record and save it. I don't want Hyderabad. Let's see quickly. I'm gonna save this. I've taken out the. What went wrong? Kukatpalli, Hyderabad. On update, I'm trying to fetch. I'm just seeing the difference, guys. This is a Kukatpalli record which we have, and I'm gonna open the record of restaurants. So this is another crazy parent record. We don't have a value called McDonald's restaurant. Oh, so this update record, which is not finding any name as this Kukatpalli Hyderabad. It's in Hyderabad. Again, a spelling mistake. If the values are properly filled out, for sure you will get the right record here. See, for Hyderabad Kukatpalli, Hyderabad, so they are here. So this is fine. So now come back to the Roman tiles. So I need to have a Kukatpalli to be present here. So all we are matching up to the what do you see? These addresses and addresses. We make sure that we are like perfect. See, Kukatpalli, Hyderabad. This all should be a perfect thing. So now it is perfect, right? So Roman tiles, Hyderabad, Kukatpalli. Why? Because our address is Kukatpalli, Hyderabad. So sorry, all because of data issues it happened. Why? Because when I'm focusing on Kukatpalli, parent address is very important. And looking back to their address, so their street should be perfect, and then city should be perfect name. Only then it go matches up properly with the city name, and then it get back. So before what I did is I added this value to here in the street only. City was blank, so that's the reason it was not populating properly. So now I think it is like it is perfect. So whichever you're trying to deal the data, so make sure your data is legitimate and then perfect, then it should work properly for you. So for me now, I have given Roman tiles based on my address, Kukatpalli. It brought me to the right nearest restaurant branch. So let me do one more insert so that are we on the track? Let's see. So again, I'm gonna give a Kukatpalli address only. So make sure it's gonna bring me the right proper parent address for me. So new account again after insert approach only. This time you want to do the individual contact. It's anything is fine. So we should see all the layouts. Primary name it is fine. Phone number we've been good. So I'm gonna give hot and then I go give number as this. So who is my account ID of an individual guy is everything. Uh, Rajaram. Because this is an individual customer, I'm giving account number as Rajaram. So who is your nearest restaurant that you should pick up? And have account number, primary name. So Rajaram only. So he's giving primary name as Rajaram. So this guys belong to Kukatpalli city. Yes, he falls under Hyderabad. I think we are all correct. So I'm gonna click on save. So look at this. A contact is got created for himself. He is an account by himself is a contact. So it is good. So look at this. For Rajaram, the moment he given the address, so we fetched him automatically. So let me record this also. So yeah, what I could see here is the moment I created Rajaram, I could see a related contacts is get created, and then in the detail section when I see for Rajaram, based on his address, we were able to fetch his nearest restaurant called as Hyderabad Kukatpalli. So we are not relying any onto the account name. We are relying only onto the address that which are giving it. So which is right approach. Based on the address only, you have to find the nearest restaurant branch. I think we're getting that to you. So McDonald's is wishing that okay, you give address based on that. We would say that your nearest branch. If the nearest branch of that address is not available, at least we'll give a city name there. From there, you will get delivered to you. So any questions here?
Yeah.
So again, a simple code walkthrough is so what we did in after insert. Why it took this time? If you think, okay, simple miss was mapping an account. That was a miss. Where I could say though the record is getting created, but this was not linked. Very important. Yes, of course, you can say that an account you are trying to create on some other object. When I say may have a relationship, may not have a relationship. So when you have a relationship, make sure you give a connection between those two people. When you don't have a relationship, you not to give this any information. Of course, you triggered here, you should look into that particular object list. If you don't have relationship, you go to something like this, such tab and see the record is created or not. But you have relationship with them, so obviously you see in their related list. Like how Rajaram I'm having, I'm seeing in their related list. Why? Because these two are connected. So that's the reason I'm seeing in the related list. So if you are understanding that you have relationship, make sure you connect them like this. So that is one point we have to add it here. Otherwise, we have done an intelligent process of saying that I don't want your record type of restaurant because I'm dealing only with my business customer. Only for those guys, I will create a contact. If tomorrow restaurant is inserted, I won't create a contact for them. Yeah, you can check them. If you create a restaurant, you will not be able to create any contact. I mean, we won't create any contact for them because we are doing check here. You will not be equal to this. Only then I'll create a contact here. And the contact which is added here. So we will say that, hey, you are not empty, then go proceed to insert the record. Okay, if they have any flaw, so they will come to their logs and we can see that in there. It has a debug saying that why it got missed, what error it went wrong. It says. If successfully the record is inserted, of course you can see that message is somewhere in the debug logs. Successfully inserted account ID is so and so. Look at this. So why you are inserted successfully? That's the reason I'm printing this message. Okay? So account is successfully inserted. We've shown that. Actually, it's not account. It's actually contact because you're inserting a contact here. Correct? It's a contact ID. Account is already we are inserting by a UI. This is an after logic where you're trying to deal only with the contact. Right? Contact records only we're inserting it here. So this is a successfully inserted contact and contact ID it is. So where and all we have used account or something. I just copied from that particular Salesforce database system. They are dealing with the account, but we wanted to hear contact. Okay, contact fields that are affected with this error. Okay, operational success. So got the idea of the record as process. This is what is finally. So we know this logic. Very important to have is if you try to deal with the batch class, you need not write anything in any of this. Batch class itself will do these operations to you. But if you're writing some of the normal programs where you try to deal with the like say insert of record, new record, 510 records you delete, then manually you have to deal with this logics. So when it comes to batch class, I'll tell you in an advanced class. So we don't write such things. But default, they have these things where they will try to process all the records. If anything, one record gone wrong, so only that particular record has been rolled off. Other records all will process. But we have to figure out which record got failed, why it got failed. That log will be required. Maybe at that time we may use this type of database.Saveresult to capture them. But unless and until batch jobs easily run by their own way, if any one record fails, it don't fail the whole thing. Okay, anyway. So otherwise, we are having a new map. Those new maps only we try to extract the values and we dealt with it to create an account to a contact records here. Tomorrow what we'll do is, so I think I hardly have update logic. So that update logic I'll do it. And delete logic is something if they have any value, we will not allow to delete you. If they deleted, so did I want to delete any child records that I'll do it. Anyway, it'll take maximum 15 minutes to 20 minutes for this class tomorrow. And of course, we have to kickstart onto the advanced class. So in the advanced class, I'll be talking about how do you want it to start with the batch class or how do you want it to start with the advanced processing classes for asynchronous batch so far. So this is all synchronous class where you try to deal instantly you're seeing results. Correct, right? You are running a record and instantly you are seeing the record is whether created or not. Whereas in a batch, they are all asynchronous. You fire them, you wait for some time, let's say 1 second, 10 seconds, whatever, and you see the results has come on. Tomorrow they have thousands of records, you have to wait for it. Unless until they execute, you should see the results later. So basically you're waiting there. Here, instantly you get the results, you are seeing it. So this process is all we say a synchronous process. Instantly you see the results. Okay. So any question guys here?
No good.
No. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
So where did I left? Now did I speak?
I mean, I said no doubts.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do is tomorrow we will try to focus on the advanced class, and I think hardly I'll spend 15 minutes for this to, in order to say update or delete. 15 to 20 minutes max, but we'll kickstart onto the advanced class. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all guys. Yeah.